Senator Reynolds.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. I listened with great interest to the answer to the first question today from Senator Cash on the unnecessary release of 147 dangerous detainees from immigration detention. And I think the Attorney-General's conduct at the press conference yesterday should alarm all Australians and absolutely put into question his fitness for the job as our first law officer. Now, to quote Peter Credlin last night, she said that she criticised the Attorney-General for trying to use a big man's tactic of intellectual intimidation against a very fine Sky News reporter, Olivia Casely. I actually disagree with Peter Credlin. He is using a big man's tactic and intellectual intimidation. And as Susan Lee and others have said, it's also probably one of the worst cases of mansplaining. But I think it is so much worse than that and goes against the code of conduct of this place. And it is a very, very clear case of bullying. And let me tell you why. So first of all, let's have a look at what he actually said. So speaking to the media yesterday, he was asked by Sky News political reporter Olivia Casely whether he, the Home Affairs Minister Claire O'Neill and Immigration Minister Andrew Giles would apologise for releasing criminals. Apologise to the Australian people. Of course he should have apologised to the Australian people. Of course all three of them should have apologised to the Australian people. But instead of just saying, yes, we got it wrong, and respecting the journalist, he pointed his finger at Ms Casely, calling the question absurd. You are asking a Cabinet Minister, 3 Ministers of the Crown, to apologise for upholding the law of Australia, for acting in accordance with the law of Australia, for following the instructions of the High Court of Australia. How dare an Australian journalist ask this question, he said. I will not be apologising for upholding the law. I will be not apologising for pursuing the rule of law, and I will not be apologising for acting. And then he pointed and he said, do not interrupt. Do not interrupt. I will not be apologised for acting in accordance with a High Court decision. Well, of course he wasn't. Of course he was not. So now let me go to the code of conduct of this place. Of the 5 principles, principle number 1, act respectfully, professionally and with integrity. Absolutely he did not. He breached the first. The second is to encourage and value diverse perspectives and recognise the importance of free exchange of ideas. Clearly he breached the second principle. The third one, recognise your power, influence or authority and do not abuse them. Clearly, as the first law officer of this nation, he has contravened the third principle as well. The fourth one is to uphold laws that support safe and respectful workplaces, including anti-discrimination, employment, work health and safety and criminal laws. Clearly, he has breached that fourth guideline. It was not a safe or respectful workplace for the journalist in that place. Fifthly, the fifth code's principle is bullying, harassment, sexual harassment or assault or discrimination in any form, including on the grounds of race, age, sex, sexuality, gender identity, disability or religion, will not be tolerated, condoned or ignored. Well, guess what? The Attorney-General, the first law officer of this nation, has managed a hat-trick of 5. He has managed, in my opinion, and I'm sure in the opinion of just about every average Australian, he has broken all 5 of the principles of our Code of Conduct. Now, not only is it a breach of the Code of Conduct of this place, his behaviour, what he demonstrated yesterday, would not be acceptable in any other workplace in this country. Not one, except in this place. Now, how can it be that a lot of our journalists have chosen not to report about this? As Peter Dutton observed yesterday, if this was anybody on my side, on our side of politics, they would have been drummed out of the parliament already. But not a word, not a word. Bullying not only comes in such an overt fashion, but it comes in many other fashions, and I've run out of time to go through all of those at this time, but those officers should hold their heads in shame. It is bullying.
Putting the question, those